To obtain an electrician's license in Massachusetts as a licensed electrician from Connecticut, be aware that Massachusetts does not reciprocate electrician licenses from other states. Therefore, a new Massachusetts electrician's license application is required. Here are the required steps. Firstly, apply online by visiting the Massachusetts Electrical Division website. Secondly, pay the application fee of $100. Thirdly, submit the required documents, including a copy of your current Connecticut electrician's license, proof of at least 4 years of experience in the electrical trade, and a passport-style photograph. Note that additional documents may be required based on specific circumstances such as military service. Fourthly, pass the required examination, which is either the Massachusetts Master or Journeyman Electrician examination. Fifthly, upon passing the examination and meeting all other requirements, you will be issued a Massachusetts electrician's license. Here is some additional information to consider. If you have less than 4 years of electrical experience, you may apply for a provisional journeyman electrician license. The Massachusetts Electrical Division advises applicants to contact the office directly for specific guidance and to avoid delays. The phone number for the Massachusetts Electrical Division is 781-935.2260. Also, note that the application process may take several months to complete. It is always recommended to contact the Massachusetts Electrical Division directly to confirm the requirements and any changes to the licensing process. Keep in mind that the licensing process requires careful attention to detail and adherence to all stated requirements. Here's an expanded explanation of each step, focusing on potential challenges and providing detailed guidance. Firstly, the online application process requires careful attention. Visit the Massachusetts Electrical Division website and locate the online application portal. Before starting the application, gather all necessary information, including your Connecticut license number, dates of employment, and details of your electrical experience. Complete all sections of the application accurately and truthfully. Any discrepancies or omissions can cause delays or even rejection of your application. Be prepared to create an account on the website and remember your login credentials for future access. Read all instructions and guidelines provided on the website carefully before you begin filling out the form. Secondly, paying the application fee of $100 is a straightforward process. The Massachusetts Electrical Division typically accepts online payments via credit card or electronic check. Ensure you have a valid payment method and that your billing information is accurate. After submitting your payment, you should receive a confirmation email or receipt. Keep this confirmation for your records as proof of payment. If you encounter any issues with the online payment system, contact the Electrical Division directly for assistance. Thirdly, submitting the required documents is a critical step that requires careful preparation. Your Connecticut electrician's license copy should be clear and legible, showing the expiration date and any endorsements or restrictions. For proof of experience, you will need to provide documentation verifying at least 4 years of work in the electrical trade. This may include letters from previous employers, pay stubs, tax returns, or notarized affidavits. Each document should include your name, the employer's name, the dates of employment, and a detailed description of your job duties. Ensure that all documents are signed and dated by the appropriate parties. Your passport-style photograph must meet specific requirements, such as size, background color, and pose. Refer to the Electrical Division's guidelines for photograph specifications. All documents must be submitted in the format specified by the Electrical Division, which may include uploading digital files or mailing physical copies. Keep copies of all documents for your records. Fourthly, passing the Massachusetts Master or Journeyman Electrician examination is a significant hurdle that requires thorough preparation. The examination covers a wide range of topics related to electrical theory, the National Electrical Code or NEC, and Massachusetts electrical regulations. To prepare for the exam, consider the following steps. Obtain a copy of the current NEC and study it thoroughly. Enroll in a reputable exam preparation course that covers the topics tested in the exam. Practice with sample exam questions to familiarize yourself with the format and difficulty level. Review your knowledge of electrical theory and calculations. Understand Massachusetts-specific electrical regulations and codes. On the day of the exam, arrive early and bring all required materials, such as identification and calculators. Read each question carefully and manage your time effectively. If you fail the exam, you will typically be allowed to retake it after a waiting period. Use the results of your failed attempt to identify areas where you need to improve your knowledge and skills. Fifthly, once you pass the examination and meet all other requirements, you will be issued a Massachusetts Electrician's license. The Electrical Division will notify you of your passing score and provide instructions for obtaining your license. You may need to pay an additional licensing fee and provide proof of insurance before your license is issued. Once you receive your license, keep it in a safe place and be aware of its expiration date. To maintain your license, you will need to complete continuing education requirements and renew your license periodically. Now, consider these additional details. If you have less than 4 years of electrical experience, you may apply for a provisional journeyman electrician license. This license allows you to work under the supervision of a licensed electrician while you gain the necessary experience to qualify for a full journeyman license. The requirements for a provisional journeyman license may differ from those for a full journeyman license, so be sure to check the Electrical Division's website for details. The Massachusetts Electrical Division advises applicants to contact the office directly for specific guidance and to avoid delays. The licensing process can be complex and the requirements may change from time to time. Contacting the Electrical Division directly can help you avoid misunderstandings and ensure that you are on the right track. The phone number for the Massachusetts Electrical Division is 781.935-2260. When you call, be prepared to provide your name, contact information, and details about your situation. Write down the name of the person you speak with and any specific instructions or advice they provide. Note that the application process may take several months to complete. The Electrical Division processes a large number of applications and it may take time for them to review your documents and schedule your examination. Be patient and persistent, and follow up with the Electrical Division if you have not heard back within a reasonable time frame. You can check the status of your application online or by contacting the Electrical Division directly. Keep in mind that it is always recommended to contact the Massachusetts Electrical Division directly to confirm the requirements and any changes to the licensing process. Licensing requirements can change over time, so it is important to stay up to date with the latest regulations. The Electrical Division's website is a valuable resource for information about licensing requirements, exam schedules, and continuing education. You can also sign up for email alerts to receive notifications about changes to the licensing process. Let's discuss continuing education requirements for maintaining an electrician's license in Massachusetts. As a licensed electrician in Massachusetts, you are required to complete continuing education courses to keep your license current. These courses help you stay up to date with the latest changes to the National Electrical Code, Massachusetts electrical regulations, and industry best practices. The number of continuing education IOs required varies depending on the type of license you hold. For example, journeyman and master electricians may be required to complete a certain number of IOs every licensing cycle. Continuing education courses must be approved by the Massachusetts Board of State Examiners of Electricians. You can find a list of approved course providers on the board's website. Courses may be offered in person, online, or through a combination of both methods. Common topics covered in continuing education courses include changes to the NEC, grounding and bonding, wiring methods, safety practices, and energy efficiency. It is your responsibility to track your continuing education IOs and submit proof of completion to the board when you renew your license. Failure to meet the continuing education requirements may result in suspension or revocation of your license. Let's consider the potential challenges in the licensing process. Applying for an electrician's license in Massachusetts can present several challenges, particularly for electricians who are already licensed in another state. One common challenge is gathering the necessary documentation to prove your experience in the electrical trade. Employers may be unwilling or unable to provide detailed letters of employment verifying your job duties and dates of service. In this case, you may need to rely on alternative forms of documentation such as pay stubs, tax returns, or notarized affidavits from former colleagues. Another challenge is preparing for the Massachusetts Master or Journeyman Electrician examination. The exam is comprehensive and covers a wide range of topics, including electrical theory, the NEC, and Massachusetts electrical regulations. Many electricians find it helpful to enroll in an exam preparation course to improve their chances of passing the exam. A third challenge is staying up to date with the latest changes to the NEC and Massachusetts electrical regulations. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, and it is important to keep your knowledge and skills current to ensure that you are providing safe and compliant electrical services. Finally, navigating the licensing process can be confusing and time-consuming. The Massachusetts Electrical Division processes a large number of applications, and it may take time for them to review your documents and schedule your examination. Be patient and persistent, and don't hesitate to contact the Electrical Division directly if you have any questions or concerns. Now, let's talk about resources available to assist you in the licensing process. There are several resources available to assist you in obtaining an electrician's license in Massachusetts. The Massachusetts Electrical Division website is a valuable source of information about licensing requirements, exam schedules, and continuing education. You could also find links to online application forms and other useful resources. The Independent Electrical Contractors or IEC and the National Electrical Contractors Association or NEC are professional organizations that offer training, education, and networking opportunities for electricians. These organizations may also offer exam preparation courses and continuing education courses. Local community colleges and vocational schools may offer electrician training programs and apprenticeship programs. These programs can provide you with the knowledge and skills you need to succeed in the electrical trade. Finally, consider connecting with other electricians in Massachusetts through online forums, social media groups, or professional networking events. Sharing experiences and advice with others can be a valuable way to learn about the licensing process and stay up to date with industry trends. In summary, obtaining an electrician's license in Massachusetts requires careful preparation, attention to detail, and persistence. By following the steps outlined in this guide and utilizing the available resources, you can increase your chances of success. Always confirm the latest requirements with the Massachusetts Electrical Division. Let's discuss the importance of the National Electrical Code, known as the NEC. The NEC is a widely adopted standard for safe electrical installations. It is updated every 3 years, so it's important to use the latest edition. Articles within the NEC such as Article 250 regarding grounding and bonding, and Article 310 covering conductors for general wiring, are crucial for safe and compliant installations. Understanding these articles is vital for passing the electrician's exam and for practical application in the field. Grounding and bonding, as covered in Article 250, ensures a safe path for fault current, reducing the risk of electrical shock. Proper conductor selection, as detailed in Article 310, ensures that wires can safely carry the intended current without overheating, preventing fire hazards. Let's consider some examples of NEC applications. For example, NEC Table 310.15b16 details the allowable ampacities of insulated conductors rated up to and including 2000 volts. If you're installing a 12 American wire gauge or AWG copper conductor, this table will tell you the maximum amperage it can safely carry depending on its insulation type and the ambient temperature. Another example is in a residential setting, where ground fault circuit interrupters or GFCIs are required in bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas, as specified in NEC Article 210.8. This is to protect against electrical shock in areas where water is present. In commercial settings, understanding requirements for emergency lighting, as outlined in NEC Article 700, is essential. Emergency lighting must be reliable and provide sufficient illumination to allow for safe egress during a power outage. Also, Knowing how to properly size overcurrent protection devices, like circuit breakers and fuses, is crucial. This is covered in NEC Article 240. The overcurrent protection device must be sized to protect the conductor from overcurrents and short circuits, preventing damage to the wiring and potential fire hazards. Here's a discussion of Massachusetts-specific electrical regulations. In addition to the NEC, Massachusetts has its own set of electrical regulations that you must be familiar with. These regulations may be more stringent than the NEC in some areas, and they may also cover topics that are not addressed in the NEC. To stay up to date with Massachusetts electrical regulations, you should subscribe to the Massachusetts Electrical Code, also known as 527 Code of Massachusetts Regulations or CMR 12.0. This publication contains the full text of the Massachusetts electrical regulations, as well as any amendments or revisions that have been made. You should also attend continuing education courses that cover Massachusetts electrical regulations. These courses will help you stay up to date with the latest changes and ensure that you are providing safe and compliant electrical services. Consider the importance of safety practices. Electrical work can be dangerous, so it is important to follow safe work practices at all times. Before starting any electrical work, always to energize the circuit or equipment you will be working on. Use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is de-energized. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment or PPE such as safety glasses, rubber gloves, and insulated tools. Never work alone on electrical projects. Always have a qualified electrician present to supervise your work. Follow lockout-tagout procedures to prevent accidental energization of circuits or equipment. Be aware of your surroundings and avoid working in wet or damp conditions. Inspect your tools and equipment regularly to ensure that they are in good working order. If you are not comfortable performing a particular electrical task, do not attempt it. Call a qualified electrician to perform the work. Discussing some common electrical mistakes to avoid is worthwhile. There are several common electrical mistakes that electricians make, which can lead to safety hazards and code violations. One common mistake is using the wrong size or type of conductor for a particular application. This can cause the conductor to overheat and potentially start a fire. Another common mistake is improper grounding and bonding. This can create a shock hazard and prevent overcurrent protection devices from operating properly. A third common mistake is over-tightening or under-tightening connections. Over-tightening connections can damage the conductor or terminal, while under-tightening connections can cause the connection to loosen over time. A fourth common mistake is failing to properly support or protect conductors. This can damage the conductors and create a safety hazard. A fifth common mistake is working on energized circuits or equipment. This is extremely dangerous and can result in serious injury or death. By avoiding these common electrical mistakes, you can help ensure that your electrical work is safe and compliant. It is crucial to understand the specific requirements for different types of electrical installations, for instance, residential wiring. Residential wiring involves specific requirements to ensure safety and compliance with the NEC and local codes. For example, arc fault circuit interrupters or SIs are required in many residential circuits to protect against fires caused by arcing faults. Smoke detectors must be installed in all bedrooms and on each level of the dwelling, interconnected so that if one alarms, they all alarm. The NEC provides specific guidelines on the placement and wiring of these devices. Tamper-resistant receptacles are required in dwelling units to protect children from electrical shock. These receptacles have internal shutters that prevent objects other than electrical plugs from being inserted. Also, understanding the requirements for service entrances, including proper grounding and bonding, is essential for a safe residential electrical system. The service entrance is where the power from the utility company enters the building, and it must be properly grounded and bonded to prevent electrical shock and ensure the proper operation of overcurrent protection devices. Remember, the requirements for commercial and industrial wiring are different. Commercial and industrial electrical installations have different requirements than residential installations due to the high voltage and current levels involved, as well as the types of equipment being used. For example, Three-phase power systems are common in commercial and industrial settings, requiring a different understanding of wiring and overcurrent protection than single-phase systems used in residences. Also, requirements for motor control circuits, transformers, and other specialized equipment are more complex in commercial and industrial settings. Additionally, emergency power systems such as generators and uninterruptible power supplies or UPS are often required in commercial and industrial buildings to provide power during outages. These systems must be installed and maintained according to strict codes and standards. Lastly, hazardous locations such as areas where flammable liquids or gases are present require specialized wiring methods and equipment to prevent explosions and fires. These locations are classified according to the type and amount of hazardous material present, and the electrical installation must be designed accordingly. Another useful aspect to note is troubleshooting common electrical problems. Troubleshooting electrical problems requires a systematic approach and a good understanding of electrical theory and wiring practices. Some common electrical problems include trip circuit breakers, dead outlets, flickering lights, and short circuits. When troubleshooting an electrical problem, start by gathering information about the symptoms and the circumstances under which the problem occurs. Then, use a process of elimination to identify the cause of the problem. Use a voltage tester or multimeter to check for voltage at various points in the circuit. Look for signs of damage, such as burned wires, loose connections, or broken components. Once you have identified the cause of the problem, make the necessary repairs or replacements. Always de-energize the circuit before working on it, and follow safe work practices. If you are not comfortable troubleshooting an electrical problem, call a qualified electrician. It is also worth knowing how to read and interpret electrical blueprints. Electrical blueprints are technical drawings that show the layout of an electrical system. They are used by electricians to install and maintain electrical systems in buildings and other structures. Electrical blueprints typically include symbols that represent various electrical components, such as outlets, switches, lights, and panels. They also include wiring diagrams that show how the components are connected. To read and interpret electrical blueprints, you need to be familiar with the symbols and conventions used in the drawings. You also need to be able to understand wiring diagrams and follow the flow of electricity through the system. Electrical blueprints often include notes and specifications that provide additional information about the electrical system. By learning how to read and interpret electrical blueprints, you can improve your understanding of electrical systems and perform your work more efficiently. It is also good to understand the different types of electrical testing equipment. Electricians use a variety of testing equipment to diagnose and troubleshoot electrical problems. Some common types of electrical testing equipment include voltage testers, multimeters, ammeters, and ohmmeters. A voltage tester is used to check for the presence of voltage in a circuit. A multimeter is a versatile tool that can measure voltage, current, and resistance. An ammeter is used to measure current flow in a circuit. An ohmmeter is used to measure the resistance of a circuit or component. When using electrical testing equipment, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and to use the equipment safely. Always de-energize the circuit before testing it, and wear appropriate personal protective equipment. Remember to understand energy efficiency and renewable energy systems. Energy efficiency and renewable energy systems are becoming increasingly important in the electrical industry. Energy-efficient lighting, appliances, and equipment can help reduce energy consumption and lower utility bills. Renewable energy systems, such as solar panels and wind turbines, can generate electricity from renewable sources, reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. As an electrician, it is important to understand the principles of energy efficiency and renewable energy systems. You should be able to install and maintain energy-efficient lighting, appliances, and equipment. You should also be able to install and maintain solar panels, wind turbines, and other renewable energy systems. By promoting energy efficiency and renewable energy, you can help create a more sustainable future.